What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you back to Knicks Deli. Thank you for joining the Hold on. Let me get a round of applause. Let me get the New York round of applause. Come on, baby. Wanted to hop on this live real quick. Okay? Oh, y'all firing back. Wanted to hop on this live real quick. What's going on, everybody? What's up, my SB community? I want to welcome you to my channel. If you're visiting for the first time, first and foremost, I appreciate you. If you enjoy this live, or if you're watching this a little bit after, the day after, and you enjoy it, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. We're trying to build this thing up. We're coming on a little bit past our 1 year, podiversity. So we appreciate every support, every piece of support. Hope you enjoy this content. If you're returning to the channel, once again, my SB community, you already know what it is. We roll deep here at Knicks Deli. You come here and order what you want. We take care of you. Everybody eats. Everybody eats here at Knicks Deli. Okay? So I'll never want to hear anything along the lines.
You wild.
If you say you don't eat here at Knicks Deli. But I appreciate you. Let's ride this thing out. And look, let's get it. Let's make this one of the biggest podcasts on YouTube, okay? But you can't have those people who celebrate you if you don't have those people who look at you with the side eye, the bombastic side eye. We see you in the comment section. And guess what? We had a phenomenal season, okay? You can look at us all you want. You're going to be stuck looking at us for the next 10 years, okay? But shout out to you anyway, friend or foe. We want the smoke. And the smoke is exactly what we're bringing to you today. Courtesy of my top 10 moments from the New York Knicks season. Let's go. Yeah. Listen, man, we're coming to the final games of the NBA Finals. And I'm not going to lie to you. I ain't put one eye on a game of these NBA Finals. People are asking me, yo, shit, what you think about the game? You watching the game? And I'm like, come on, man. You wildin' if you think I'm going to watch one of those games when I know we should have been there. All right? But this ain't a salty live. This is a celebratory live. This is a reflective live. This is one of those ones where I get on and I really felt good doing this show. And I'm going to freestyle this mother flipper. So it may not be as organized, okay? But I'm going to freestyle this mother flipper and give you the top 10 best moments of the New York Knicks season through Knicks Deli's eyes, okay? And that's what we're going to cover today. So I want y'all to ride with me, roll with me, put your top moment inside the chat. Let me know what was one of your favorite moments. This may be basketball related for the New York Knicks, and it may not be. It could be external, okay? It could be something on the administrative side. So rock with me. I don't want to take too much of your time, but before I dive into it, I just want to remind y'all, check me out on the socials, okay? Look at your boy getting social, all right? Yo, go follow me on Twitter. Check me out at Knicks Deli. Follow me on Instagram. I'm getting my Instagram popping again. Check me out on that. Of course, you can check me out here at the crib on YouTube. And for your grandparents, you know what I mean? I'm about to hop on Facebook too. All right. We got a lot of exciting things coming this off season. Already started the rebrand. You know how we do. And it's just going to be phenomenal, man. Just like our squad. Everything is promising. Everything is looking up. But it's not as a result of hard work being put in. So we're going to roll with it. Let me hit the comment section real quick. My guy, Jay Boogie, what's going on, bro? What's going on, bro? We get to celebrate this season. Let me hop up, put your comment in real quick. Said, what's good, my brother? Rock out. I'm tuned in. Remember, you only got 9 memories left. Don't forget, I dropped the track on the Jumbotron number 10. LOL, salute, 3 capitals. Let's go. Yo, shout out to you, J-Bug. You already know. Salute to you. Yeah. This is what we're doing today. This is what we're doing today. Okay? We're bringing that J Boogie energy today here on Knicks Deli, baby. Order up. Everybody eats. Everybody is eating today. Okay, so I want to dive right in, but before I do, just want to remind you all, being a little bit more consistent with this thing. So it's not 10 o'clock today because I got to go to the gym. Okay, summer is coming and I'm not ready. All right, so I'm gonna hop off of here when I'm done. I'm gonna go to the gym. Okay, but you can check me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, either with a video or either on live. And generally it'll be about 10 o'clock. Or you can check me on Saturdays, and that'll definitely be a mailbag or live, and we can get it in. Once again, the key to anything is consistency, and then the next is quality. So I'm going to be looking to do both, this season. Okay. So my number 10 moment, I will say, for me is, let me pull this up, because you got to give, you got to give the flowers. Okay. And you got to give credit where it is due. Okay. So let me just give a shout out to this man. Okay. I guess my number 10 on the list of my top 10 moments this season is the redemption season for Julius Randle. Okay. Now, many of you you're stuck in the moment right now because of his performance in the playoffs. But one thing I have to give credit for, and it did take all season for me to give this man credit, okay? Because I was almost waiting for the tires to fall off. I was almost waiting for that other shoe to fall off for Julius. But what he did, and I noticed it at the beginning of the season, when he came out, we all came out with a little bit of a shaky start. Brunson was still trying to get a feel with the team. People was trying to figure out who's going to be the leading scorer now. The expectation was that Julius would clash with Brunson, at the start of the season. And it turned out that clash happened with RJ. RJ got out to a shaky start. And it almost seemed as if Brunson knew that part of his homework assignment was infusing confidence in Julius. Now you take that thing, you keep going at it, you keep shooting the ball. And even when we struggled, it seemed like Julius kept looking for a shot. And it turned out to be the best way to go, because ultimately he got his rhythm and he continued to put together the string of good games. And it ultimately, just like it did 2 seasons ago, you got to get this man the credit. He was the engine to the number of wins and the success that we had in the regular season. Okay. Now, when it comes to Julius, and the team, let's not just point when it comes to the team, you got to realize the more time you have in the playoffs, the more you start to get comfortable with the atmosphere. Okay. This season, I truly believe we're shaking the label of those teams that are lucky. Okay. They're starting to know that there's consistency with what we're bringing to the floor, with what we're bringing to the season. And there's an expectation for us not only to get to the playoffs, but to advance. And you got to take your hat off and give credit to Julius Randle. Julius Randle. I did a video, my last video was about letting them cook. Okay. What will happen if you stick with a player and you actually let them grow and mature through the process of developing? Okay. And if we're applying this to the real world, you're grateful that some people didn't give up on you at the age of 24, 25. All right. That, they stuck with you and they relied, and all of a sudden it snapped and it clicked for you. And then you ultimately became the person you wanted to become. Okay. Now I know Julius is older than that. Julius is in his prime. And moving forward, we don't know if he's going to be with us or not. But we're not talking about moving forward. We're talking about this past season. And I was proud of Julius kind of recentering himself. I was proud of the adjustment that he made in adapting to a new point guard, and being able to have the type of season that he had that really powered us. He had a lot of great moments this season. And it was just good to see. So shout out to Julius Randle. My guy, you are my number 10, best moment of the New York Knicks season. Okay, number 10 best moment. I'm hoping my sound is all right, because I haven't gone live in a while, and I don't want to be talking for about 30 minutes with no sound, looking crazy. Okay, but we want to give a shout out and a New York round of applause for Julius Randle. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So, let's go. Shout out to you. All right, we done. Listen, so number 9 on my list of the best moment in New York, in our New York Knicks season. Number 9 is not necessarily connected to the New York Knicks, but it was one of my favorite moments. Okay, so shout out to the Dillon Brooks jersey SWAT. The Dillon Brooks jersey SWAT. I hate to kick a man while he's down, but I'm putting the boots to him today. Okay, one of the funniest things that I've seen. One of the funniest things that I've seen, and I don't have the photo for it, so I'm gonna take this photo down. But Dillon Brooks, man, yo, shout out to Dillon Brooks, bro. You know, honestly speaking, man, you did add the personality to that team. You did bring a little bit of an edge. We see what you was trying to do in terms of your role. You was trying to be a Pat Bev type. You was trying to be Draymond Green for hopefully a title contending team. But the fact of the matter is your whole squad was too young, and y'all were getting in your own way, and there was no leader. Okay, so but shout out to that moment in the season when Dillon Brooks and the Memphis Grizzlies would play the Brooklyn Nets, and ultimately he went up to Kyrie Irving and he said, "Yo, bro, you want to swap jerseys?" So Kyrie's just like, "All right, young fella, I'm gonna swap the jersey with you." But what he did was he took his jersey and he gave it to Dillon Brooks. And ultimately, Dillon Brooks took his jersey off, but by the time he took his jersey off, Kyrie was gone. Sorry, bro. He was gone. Yo, and I watched that joint in real time, and I laughed in real time. I couldn't wait to post that thing. It was the funniest thing I had seen in forever. But it was also a reminder of, listen, man, you know, you eat what you kill in this league. You truly eat what you kill in this league. And you can't create your narrative on the spot and expect everybody to buy into it. Okay? Unless you're LeBron James. But he's been doing it for 20-something years now. You're like 18 years. So he's at the point where he's mastering it, but he's backing it up. He's not only backing up his efforts, but it's almost like he doesn't believe that people believe in his success. So he's going to tell you that he's great. But LeBron could do that because LeBron is proven, he's a proven king of the league. You got to give him that. But Dillon Brooks, my guy, you are my number 9 top moment in the NBA for the New York Knicks season. It was comical. It was comical. And it felt good that the New York Knicks weren't the butt of jokes. That was probably one of the most overarching beautiful themes this season. Is that when you talked about the New York Knicks, you weren't talking about us in a jovial manner in terms of us being the court jesters. We weren't on Shaq and a Fool as an organization. All right? When we hit that court, when we played those games, teams took us seriously. Although at the beginning of the season, media tried to do it. They tried us. They tried to clown us a few times until they realized that we were stringing this thing together. All right? We hated to disappoint you, media. All right? But we weren't no clown show this season. We weren't. The very opposite was happening. We were dropping bombs on them. Right? But shout out to Dillon Brooks. You, my guy, on number 9. Best moment that I had this Knicks season. It was just comical, that jersey SWAT. Kyrie swatted that thing away instead of a swap. So shout out to Dillon Brooks. My number 8 top moment of the New York Knicks season this season. It's my guy, Quentin Grimes. QG. Making the rising star game, and he is the front person for this moment, but it was the entirety of the All-Stars. It was the entirety of the All-Star experience. He just highlighted it, okay? The fact that we had our young guy, Jericho Sims. And shout out to John Morant, okay? We got to get an official shout out to John Morant. Yeah. But shout out to John Morant. John Morant, if he could keep his nose clean. One of my biggest pet peeves was looking at Twitter, right? Over the past few seasons. And anytime someone is balling out in the league, you see LeBron will hop on and get his Twitter fingers. You shut up, young fella. I see you. You that boy Luka's a problem. This, that, and third. So they always, and other stars follow LeBron's lead. They Twitter fingering, giving big ups to everybody else. But when somebody like a Julius Randle is having a big game, and we got a little streak going, you don't hear nothing. You hear crickets. You don't hear nothing. There's no props given to these New York Knicks. So when we become where we want to become and where we go where we want to go, you know we're going to have earned it because they don't want us there. I feel like DJ Khaled right now. They don't want us to win. They hope that we fall. They hope that we're inconsistent and we never get back on track and reach our goals. They don't want us to reach our goals. Okay, but shout out to this young guy, and I truly hope Ja Morant gets on track, man. I hope he grows up pretty quickly. I hope he gets some real NBA OGs that he respects, that he really latches on and has a turnaround pretty quickly. Okay, but him as a superstar, shout out to Ja Morant, because over the last 2 or 3 seasons, you know, he has been the one to say, yo, I see what you're doing. It started out with the discussion about Jalen Brunson coming to New York. And when all those rumors were swirling, okay, Ja Morant was the one that tweeted like, yo, y'all got this dude effed up. You know what I mean? Like, yo, JB is a problem. Everybody's talking about him as a backup. He's not going to be any better than a backup. New York Knicks gave this man a max contract. It was Ja Morant that was one of the first to be like, yo, this dude is a problem. And then Desmond Bane, shout out to Desmond Bane, man. He is the second best player on that Grizzly squad. But he chimed in to co-sign that. He was just like, yo, y'all better put some respect on this cat's name. Also, shout out to Donovan Mitchell. You know, there's a lot of discussions and Donovan Mitchell is now linked to the New York Knicks, you know, forever. But prior to even doing that, you know, you give respect to those opponents who give you that work. And Donovan Mitchell was one that sat in the losing chair when he was with when he's with the Utah Jazz. And he said, yo, y'all asking me why this dude dropped 40 as if he's a bum. Let me tell you who Jalen Brunson is. And I'm telling you right now, he's our point guard. But shout out to Ja Morant, you know, who gave JB props, but he also gave props to and suggested that Jericho Sims be in the dunk contest. So back to Quentin Grimes, man. Quentin Grimes, I was great. I love these moments where our players are getting exposure. So whether it is during All-Star festivities, where the NBA world stops and they all fixate on this stage, or it's making the playoffs, where now all the ancillary teams who are not in it, there's only the 16 teams that are going to be playing, plus the play-in, you know, mode. But this is a different stage where the world now is fixated on this stage. That's why it's important with where we are in our development that this team makes the playoffs. We want as many times as possible for these players to be exposed to the world. Right, New York Knicks fans and Knicks Twitter, we already got it covered. With our content, yo, we bigging up our players. But historically, all the other fans of all the other teams, all the prognosticators, all the media, they've always talked about how we overhype our players. But stages like the All-Star game, the Rising Stars moment, and the playoffs, they see we ain't capping no more. They see that these players are talented. Fortunately, Utah didn't see it. They did see it because they asked for Quentin Grimes. At the last moment, they had somebody, you know, scouring the film. And it was like, no, we need that young piece right there. But the NBA fan base, They see the talent that we put forth now. They see our young talent, and part of that was exhibited on that stage. Quentin Grimes showed up in his All-Star Rising Stars game, and he would have been MVP had his team won. That man went in there and dropped the easy 25. And it's so funny because the announcers didn't know who the hell he was. They were just freestyling, and I was watching, and I'm like, these cats don't even know who he is. Oh, you got to get up on this guy, Tom Thibodeau, his systems. And they were talking about all the general things, Tom Thibodeau and Quentin Grimes and the college he played at. And then he started lighting them up. He started lighting them up, doing what Quentin Grimes does. He's a shooter, leaving the gooseneck up there every time, putting people on skates, picking pockets like he did in the playoffs. He did it in the All-Star game, and he did it against Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, letting you know it don't matter the stage. He don't lean on his offense. He got defense too. So that was one of my favorite moments, man. I really wanted him to get the MVP, and I wanted our squad, to win that he was on. It just didn't happen, but he put the league on notice. I'm just not a throw-in. I'm a starter in this league for a reason. Put some respect on my name. There's a reason why we shut down having Donovan Mitchell come to New York, because we didn't want to throw him in the deal. We have a long-term strategy for success. They're accustomed to us wanting to get the superstar so that we throw all the ingredients into the deal so they could clown us on the other side. Why would New York do that? Oh, this young player has such talent. Same old Knicks. We didn't fall for the okie doke, but I love that moment. So shout out to not only Quentin Grimes, but shout out to Jericho Sims and Julius Randle in the All-Star game, and shout out to Jalen Brunson, who should have been there as well. They don't want us. They don't want to see us win. That would have been too many Knicks part of the festivities. So, yeah, that moment goes to Quentin Grimes. Okay, Quentin Grimes, my brother, you are number 8 on my list of my top 10 moments of this past New York Knicks season. Okay, what is my number 7 moment? What is the 7th? What is the moment that makes the number 7 spot? And that moment is when the New York Knicks advance to the second round. All right. Now, some of y'all looking at me like, yo, that's blasphemous, bro. Why you got that as the number 7? Okay. Why do you have that at the number 7 spot? All right. And I'll tell you this, because we're not surprising anybody anymore. I think the league, with this season that we put together, and some people will look at it and be like, oh, regular season don't mean nothing. Don't let them give you that. That's only for people who are accustomed to making the playoffs for 15 straight years. Don't let them fool you and tell you that the regular season doesn't mean nothing to a team like the New York Knicks. We ain't been there long enough to be able to make that statement. That's the piece that be killing me when we're on Twitter and y'all like, oh, regular season Randle. Yo, ninjas, act like we weren't praying for the regular season to be successful over the past 15 to 20 years, 30 years, feels like. So don't be part of that crew of fan base that are accustomed to seeing their team year in and year out in the playoffs. That ain't us. Not yet. Yes, we do want more. We want to raise that bar, but their play, what they did this season, has emboldened us to say we want to raise the bar. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget we was coming off of a losing season. Let's not forget that. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't think Julius is a fit with us anymore. If we can get something for him and swap him out, let's do it as long as it's a good move. Or if we want to move forward with him, we'll figure it out. He is still a player in this league who has several rotations around the league in terms of his time in the league. And he's going to continue to get better because he's continued to get better every season that he's been in there. That's one thing you can't take from him. But let's stop acting like we have 15 straight years and we have now these lofty expectations. We want to hope. But we gotta follow the steps and not skip steps. We can't skip steps. And going to to the second round, once again, it's a huge step for the New York Knicks. Because now that conversation can't be 2 years ago. It was just like, the New York Knicks won the game and look how they acted. It's more than that. It's making the playoffs. It's getting in there and getting our young players to dip their toe in the playoff experience and get a taste of it. It's getting to that point, but then having Mitchell Robinson injured and leaving him with a hunger to want to get back and make an impact. What we've seen with this team, contrary to you people who think that the New York Knicks organization don't develop their players, we've seen steps taken this season. There's been productive, positive steps that was taken. Yes, I want to continue to play, just like all the other teams who had championship expectations, who got eliminated. They want to still be playing right now. But don't get locked in on that championship or you're a failure type of attitude that this new generation has. The New York Knicks are one of the original franchises. You can't afford to have recency bias, because we've been around longer than a lot of these teams. We're probably one of the first 4 to 6 teams to start this NBA thing. So let's not try to be like everybody else. We understand this is a process. We've been around long enough to see all these fools come and go. So it is an absolute accomplishment that we got to the point of getting a first round victory. And convincingly, we looked good doing it. People predicted that we wouldn't get this victory, that we would fall to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Their defense is phenomenal. All their big men are dominant. They got Donovan Mitchell. Oh, you just can't lose to Donovan Mitchell. So big up my top number 7 moment is absolutely advancing to the second round in the playoffs for our New York Knicks. All right, so shout out to the squad for getting that accomplished. Okay, hope my sound is working. Let's go. I know I'm overdoing the guns. That's my applause though. All right, number 6. The number 6 moment, my favorite moment for the NBA season. Bang. The Julius Randle game winner in Miami. Let's go. What we did, that it was beautiful what we did. We circled the block in Miami. We spun the block on them. They had a phenomenal defensive rotation. They were disruptive on the outside of the 3-point line. Julius was trying to gather his dribble. They were on him. But when he put that thing up, man, it was a beautiful play. It was a signature moment for this team in the NBA for this NBA season. It was an announcement that we coming into your spot. We ain't afraid. We ain't scared of you, mother flippers. That's basically what it was. It was an announcement that, you're going to have to see us, not only this season, but for the next few seasons. Don't get old. Don't get old. And we see right now, Miami is more than what their record was. But on that particular night, we made a statement. And Julius Randle, on that particular night, continued to write his name in the lore of the New York Knicks organization. Just as much as we have it's a complicated relationship that we have with Julius Randle. It's complicated because we see the points of frustration with Randle. But at the same time, the man is giving you numbers. He's giving you numbers, which is why I say he's gonna rival Melo in the New York Knicks record books. if not surpass him in several categories if he continues to be part of this team. Because stat-wise, he is adding it up. He is putting his name throughout the record books in the New York Knicks uniform. Can't hate him for that. You can't doubt it. But that was a special moment, because it's moments like that makes us undeniable in major media. And I always get my people just like, yo, don't focus on the major media. We don't care about them. Listen, I understand that. But it's another step towards forcing them to be accurate in their coverage of the New York Knicks. And you do that when you win. You do that when you have big time moments. You do that when you have to plant seeds of doubt in the minds of these so-called experts when matchups in the playoffs come. When anytime we go head to head with any team, that they don't look at it as an automatic win because same old Knicks. So I love that these moments are coming up, and we had several of them. But Julius Randle gave us one of the most memorable moments, which was a part of one of our win streaks that we had. All right, so shout out to Julius Randle. You are the number 6 moment on my list of my top best moments of the New York Knicks season here at Knicks Deli.
Knicks Deli edition.
Let's go. So the number 5 moment, what was the number 5 moment for me? Number 5 moment was the 8-game win streak that we had in the spring. Okay, and if my memory serves me correctly, I don't know, I think that shot that Julius hit was part of the streak that we had in the spring. But what was special about this 8-game win streak was, I believe we had won maybe 2 games. We won a 2-game win streak before the All-Star break. And then we had an opportunity to kind of revel in the success that we were having this season over the period of the All-Star break. But then coming out of it, we had an opportunity to pick up where we left off at and stretch this thing out. And I remember saying, and I posted it on Twitter, check the receipts if you don't believe me. I said it on Twitter. I think we want to go for 8. No, I think I said, let's stretch this thing to 5 or something like that. And then the New York Knicks went on to show that this is the second streak that we had. At the beginning of the season, prior to the All-Star break, in the fall when we had our original streak, it was just like, okay, maybe they're lucky. It's a cute story. But that streak in the spring, after the All-Star break, where teams are refreshed and ready to go, and there's that separation between the serious contending teams for the playoffs and everybody else, the New York Knicks put their flag in the ground, orange and blue, and was just like, we here, we got right now. We got right now. So if you think we're going somewhere, you're wrong. So this 8-game winning streak in the spring made a lot of believers out of the non-believers in the NBA communities and other fan bases who are accustomed to us letting leads go. All right, so that was one of my favorite moments of this NBA season. Number 5 is the 8-game win streak in the spring for all of you non-believers. Okay, my number 4 moment was sweeping the Chicago Bulls during the season. Let's go. Yeah. Pretty appropriate. We saw you firing back, but it wasn't enough. It was good, but it wasn't enough. You know what we did?
We circling the block. We spinning the block.
I'm sorry, shout out to Dirk. Okay? It wasn't enough. The most beautifulest thing in the world for me this season was that sweep of the Chicago Bulls, the back-to-back, and then picking up that 3rd game. Now, I know that the Chicago Bulls didn't have as good of a season as they wanted, but they still finished strong. But it's always a battle when we facing them damn Bulls. Every time I see those jerseys, I turn red. But it was so beautiful going in there and bullying them. We didn't just we was pushing them around. Pushing you around. What you gonna do? What are you going to do? We were asking him regularly.
Tough, right?
You tough, right? You tough, right? But that was the most beautiful thing. And what made it even more beautiful is my cousin is a Bulls fan. My cousin is a Bulls fan from back in the Jordan era. So, of course, I was tap dancing on his grave. I mean, you know, just in terms of the Bulls loss, he's here. But they couldn't shut me up. And one of my boys, also a Bulls fan. And he's from East Chicago. Or Gary. I think Gary, Indiana is considered East Chicago. Hey, I spent 7 years in the Midwest. But that was one of the most beautiful parts of the season for me. Honestly speaking, you see that it ranks high for me. Okay? Sweeping the Chicago Bulls, absolutely loved it. Made it one of the cherries on my Sunday. Okay? So shout out to the New York Knicks busting up the Bulls this season. All right? We're coming down to my last few. Okay? Coming down to my final four. So my number 4 moment, best part of the season for me was going to 3 games this season. Okay? Many of you, if you don't know, if you're new to my channel, I'm back home now. I'm back in New York. But for 7 years, I lived in Indiana. Okay? I was going in the belly of the beast. Okay? I would attend games, and I was so fortunate that this past season, I was able to see our New York Knicks play in person for 3 of them games. I think it was 4, but I don't want to I would have to go look at, my records. But I'm going to say 3. I was in the house. All right. And one thing I absolutely love about us Knicks Nation, we travel, bro. We travel. And it's so funny because I had friends and I have a community out in Indiana as well. And I had a chance to take a couple of my peoples to the game with me. And they were just so surprised that New York Knicks fans, the way we respond to each other when we're going to the games is like family, like we know each other. So they were baffled at the fact that I'm going up to people. People are coming up to me like, yo, I'm seeing you. We got to get this one, man. Yo, we got to get this one, man. I'm like, yo, we taking this. And he was just like, yo, you know them? She's like, yo, you know that guy? And I'm like, nah, man, it's the Knicks family, baby. Yo, this is serious for us. We take these things seriously. Okay, this community is strong. So I love that. I love having the opportunity in Indiana. Fortunately, the cost of the tickets are super, affordable. And especially if you're going to see the Knicks, if you're in Indiana, they're just going to see their team. But, the tickets and the seats were available, man. And I was able to make it to 3 of them things. I had a phenomenal experience. Indiana Pacer fans, shout out to you. Props to you. They're not really loud in the first 3 quarters, but they're ridiculous in the 4th quarter. And it disrupted us a few times. There was a stretch for the 7 years when I would attend games. We weren't winning the games. But this season was the right season to go, man, because I think we dropped 1, but I think we won 2 of the 3 that I attended. So shout out to just being able to get to games. If you have an opportunity at some point in time, whether you have great seats or you're anywhere in the arena, go check out our boys. That experience is second to none, no matter where you are in the arena. So that was my number 4 of the top 10 best moments of this past NBA New York Knicks season. Number 3, all right, we get into our top 3. My top 3 moments of this past New York Knicks season. Number 3 is walking away. Walking away. Hold on, let me bring the appropriate picture up. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Okay. So, hold on. This ain't the appropriate pic. Let me find it. Struggle streaming right now. Just stick with me. Let me see. Let's go. What do we got? What do we got? I know I got it in here somewhere. Let me see. Yeah, so when I mentioned walking away, there we go. When we walked away from the Donovan Mitchell deal, you know, that was met with a mixed bag of cheers, jeers, not knowing what the front office's plan was, what were we doing, a little bit of greediness on our part as a fan base, because we were just like, man, we got a point guard now, but man, we want to get this superstar. Some people identify Donovan Mitchell as a superstar. I really think that he's on the precipice of being a superstar. But in terms of that move, this was one of the moments I was truly proud of the New York Knicks organization. And it could have been a spin. All right, so some people were accusing me of spinning it because the word that had got out was, you know what? They were still in discussions with the New York Knicks, but Danny Ainge just pulled the trigger on Cleveland almost as I gotcha. All right. So I'm gonna recapture the narrative in the media to make it look like y'all didn't want to do what it needed to take in order to get this man on your roster. You really didn't want him. But the way I looked at it was, they had an additional ask. They asked for Quentin Grimes, and we were just like, nah, son, that's too rich. We already given you 3 firsts. We're giving you 3 firsts. We're willing to part ways with one of our cornerstones, RJ Barrett. We're giving you Obi Toppin, who was the top 10 pick. You want the only official fleece. You want to go down in history with the Masai Ujiris and everybody else who's been able to laugh and fleece us in the past. Nah, bro, this ain't happening. Either you take it or leave it. And before we were able to kind of, posture up a little bit more, he was just like, I'm going to leave it. I'll take what Cleveland is sending to me. And we was just like, you know what, we fine with that. So that for me was a real proud moment, bro, because I'm like, our organization, we're setting the tone. And I know many of us, because we were emotionally connected to that moment, we saw not only recapturing the headlines, but also being in a position, if we have a Jalen Brunson and a Donovan Mitchell, and then we add that to a Julius Randle and a Mitch Robinson, we saw what we could have been. My question is, would we have simply been the Cleveland Cavaliers? Because you see, they have Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, they got Jared Allen. So they pretty much look like us over there, with the exception of they have Evan Mobley, who's going to be a star in this league. So I think they would have been a little bit of a better position, because we wouldn't have Obi and we wouldn't have had RJ. So I'm just curious of what our roster would look like had we pulled that off. But at that time, man, I really didn't think. I'm like, all right, I see everybody talking about Donovan Mitchell, but for me, when I watch him play, I'm like, I don't know if he's that piece that helps us get over the top. I don't want to disrespect him, but I'm like, he kind of gives me DeMar DeRozan type vibes. Well, he'll fill it up. I think I am disrespectful. That's disrespectful. Let me know in the comment section if that was disrespectful. But I simply mean a player who can help you win in the regular season, but can't help put you over the top. And maybe it's still because he has to develop himself. But what do I know? Because I also said the same thing about Jimmy Butler, which was the reason why I didn't want him when he was a free agent and we had an opportunity to pursue him. I was just like, I don't want the cat. He's not going to move the needle. He's not going to be a player that takes us to the next level. But you see what happens when you let them cook and you let them develop. And if everything breaks right for you, that's why I always laugh at those people who try to predict victories and who's the better team. You never know when somebody's going to get an injury. You never know when somebody's going to get technical fouls and get ejected from a game. so many factors and variables that go into whether or not you win or lose a game. Luck has to be on your side in some way, shape, or form. But that was a favorite moment for me. It shows that we have steady, competent people in the front office. It shows that we did our homework enough. It shows that our cap person is doing the numbers, and we'll talk about the hit that we would take. It shows that they have a plan looking long term, the possibilities down the road, and we don't want to put everything here because that can disrupt the way we want to guide this organization back to sustainable, long-term winning. So it was a proud moment for me. It was a moment that a lot of people around the league didn't understand. And what they didn't understand about that moment was that the New York Knicks was using logic. And they had studied the situation, and they weighed the risks versus the rewards. And they didn't see enough reward in that move. And it would have been terrible in terms of the narrative and media if those players would have struggled. But no, IQ played to the level of getting to the point of Sixth Man of the Year consideration. Quentin Grimes showed what he can do, in the Rising Stars game. RJ Barrett showed up when the lights got brightest in the playoffs. And Obi Toppin showed flashes as he does of impact incrementally in the playoffs as well. I hate the term trust the process, but a lot of it is trust the process for this New York Knicks team who's kept this young core together and have developed them and have developed a relationship which equates to a culture. Remember, culture was something we desperately needed. That's why I always laugh at the people who are anti-Thibodeau. He's part of establishing a foundation and a culture. And then I listen to people saying, all right, that's cool. Yeah, Thibodeau is that coach that you bring in, you lay the foundation, but he ain't going to be that coach to take you up to the next level. No, talent takes you up to the next level. The talent takes you up to the next level. And for those of you people who say, yeah, that's right, but Tibbs get him injured because they overplay. No, he needs a well-balanced team with good talent. Those injuries happen when you have only a few of the most talented players. You try to ride them and hope everybody else rises to the occasion. Get them, man, 2 or 3, get them like 2 all-star level, high-level playing players, or develop this squad, get them to the point where we can maximize their skills and abilities and they get comfortable dominating their matchups. We raise and develop these players to the level of Jalen Brunson, to a level of a Julius. We get 2 other players who are playing at the same level of a Julius or Brunson with the minutes they're given, and we in the finals. So you can say Tibbs all you want, but it's the players that have to dominate their matchups. It's the players that have to execute the game plan. And what the New York Knicks showed when they decided to move away was, listen, now's not the right time. And this is year 3 of this 5-year contract that we have to do, that we gave Tibbs, that Leon has. So it's part of the 5-year plan. Let's think this through. And that's when you know Dillon has stepped back and he's fully positioned his front office to make those types of decisions. So that's my number 3. That's my number 3 moment of the season. The best moment for me in the season is when we had the ability to walk away. So shout out to the front office for that. Now I am in my petty bag, but fan bases, you tough, right?
Tough, right?
Yeah, you tough, right? For anybody on here who's a New Jersey Nets fan. Sorry, bro. My next moment is the Brooklyn Nets' failure. It's their failure, they're crashing and burning, they're implosion. Circling, come on, man. I'm circling the block. We spinning the block. Yo, This is probably my number one. All facts. It's probably my number one, but it's not. But it's probably my number one. Listen, my number one moment, man, was Kevin Durant asking for a trade.
This bitch.
Come on, man. My favorite moment was Kyrie Irving asking for a trade.
This bitch.
Listen, I'm petty as hell. I don't care. Call me Petty LaBelle. Call me Petty White. I'm the petty prince of positivity. All the P's. But man, yes, I'm a hater. Okay? You can't have that much Hall of Fame talent on a team and not get out of the first round. Why? What? Why? You can't have that much talent on the team and not pull it together. That is an example of stars in this league who underestimated the market of the New York Knicks. Completely underestimated the fan base and what that energy is. You thought you could steal New York and put it on your jersey. You thought you could steal that energy by sidestepping and going to Brooklyn. You thought you was going to get the same love. You thought you would split the city. And that's what happens. I'm disappointed in you, Kyrie, because you know what it was going to be. But then I can't blame you, because if that was your squad growing up, you're going to ride with your squad. You're going to think your star's bright enough to change some people's minds. But KD, you shouldn't have let that dude mislead you. You were intending to come to the Garden. You had your bags packed. Always listen to that little voice inside of you. Because the moment you went against it, you went down the wrong path. So to see that bridge burning in Brooklyn was beautiful. It was beautiful. God damn it. I loved it. And I loved it to the point where it was my second top moment of the New York Knicks season. All right? So shout out to them Brooklyn Nets. You take that with you. You take it with you. Take those two. And my number one moment of this past season, obviously, is going to be this guy right here. It's going to be this guy right here. Here at Knicks Deli, we celebrating this guy. Yeah. Listen, let's drop a bomb on the Flex. My number one moment of this past season was landing the number one free agent on the market. That's what your New York Knicks did. Initially, we thought it was going to be DeJounte Murray. We thought we lost the opportunity. We thought he was sleeping at the wheel. Y'all remember all of the memes about Leon Randle sleeping in the layback chair, the lazy boy chair? Yeah, we thought he dropped the ball on that one. Everybody was saying he dropped the ball, but he didn't. They had their eyes on the prize. And once again, to go back to my past video, check out my video, Let Them Cook, because I talk about when teams don't realize the value of the players that they have. They don't realize the impact of development and the ceilings that these players can have. That was drop the ball. And what also made this a top moment for me was when the rumors were out that we might get him. We all saw what he did in the playoffs side by side with Luka Doncic. But we didn't believe the hype. It couldn't be, it's too good to be true. So it made me go research videos and watch videos of this young man. Saucy, giving people the work with his footwork, not athletic like a Donovan Mitchell. He ain't gonna just rise up on you and bang that thing on you. But he's gonna hit you with so much of the Hakeem footwork at the point guard position. I started seeing that on film. I'm like, yo, this man pops off the screen. And that's what superstars do. All my people on Twitter, when you get mad at me when I said RJ don't pop off the screen, That don't mean he still can't be a good player in this league, but there's a difference when you got players who pop off the screen. First and foremost is when you throw players at them and they can't do nothing with them on the defensive end. And when they hit big time shots in big time games at big time moments. That's a superstar. And the New York Knicks then messed around, they effed around and found out that they got a superstar in their hands. My number one moment, the best moment of this past New York Knicks season was landing our first superstar in years. Shout out to the New York Knicks. Yeah, that's all I have. So I wanted to keep this to an hour. Do me a favor. What was your top moments? Put that in the comment section. Put it in the comment section. But we had a phenomenal, I love this season, man. I love taking that journey. I love listening to the fans and how we broke down and criticized and analyzed this past season. But more importantly, I love the fact that we're on this ride, watching this organization strategically build up a winner in New York City. All right? Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. But also keep this in mind. Not only are we here, but we got right now, post-LeBron era. Knicks Daily Edition. Peace.